Hey there, internet friends. Welcome to the digital frontier, where the rules are still being written and the landscape is constantly changing. Today, we're diving into a crucial piece of legislation that shapes our online experience, Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. This law has been around since the early days of the internet, back when dial-up modems were the norm and the web was a wild, untamed place. Essentially, Section 230 states that websites and online platforms aren't liable for the content their users post. Think of it like this: if you find a nasty note on your car windshield, you wouldn't blame the car manufacturer, you'd blame the person who wrote the note. This law was designed to allow the internet to grow and thrive without being bogged down by endless lawsuits. Major platforms like Facebook and Twitter have benefited immensely from Section 230. These platforms have evolved far beyond simple bulletin boards. They're now sophisticated ecosystems driven by powerful algorithms that curate and amplify content. They have the power to amplify certain voices while silencing others, creating echo chambers and sometimes spreading misinformation. The big question is, should these companies be given a free pass for everything their users post, or should they be held accountable for the content they amplify and the impact it has on society? Buckle up, folks, because this is where things get interesting. The future of Section 230 is uncertain, and its fate will shape the internet for years to come. The decisions made today will impact how we communicate, share information, and connect with each other in the future. So, let's keep the conversation going and work towards a more balanced and fair internet for everyone. Imagine being the referee in a fight between a billion toddlers armed with smartphones. That's basically what content moderation is like for these platforms. They've got rules, sure, but enforcing them is like trying to herd cats on a roller coaster. Facebook, for example, has thousands of moderators battling hate speech, misinformation, and cat videos, probably. They use a mix of algorithms and human review, but mistakes happen. A lot. And when they do, the consequences can be serious. Remember that time a Facebook algorithm flagged a Pulitzer Prize-winning photo of the Vietnam War as nudity? Or when Twitter suspended an account tracking Russian troll activity? Yeah, it's a mess. The truth is, there's no perfect system. Every platform struggles to find the right balance between protecting users and stifling free speech. It's a constant game of whack-a-mole, and the moles are multiplying faster than rabbits on, well, you get the idea. Remember when your crazy uncle swore that Elvis was working at the local Burger King? It was a story that seemed too wild to be true, yet it was told with such conviction that you almost wanted to believe it. That's the power of a good story, even if it's completely fabricated. The internet is like that, but on steroids. Every day, millions of stories, both true and false, are shared and reshared at lightning speed. It's a digital jungle out there, where the line between fact and fiction is often blurred. Misinformation spreads like wildfire, and social media platforms are the gasoline. A single misleading post can ignite a blaze of confusion and panic, spreading faster than we can contain it. From bogus cures for COVID-19 to election interference straight out of a Bond villain's playbook, the consequences of fake news can be devastating. People make life-altering decisions based on false information, and entire societies can be swayed by cleverly crafted lies. It's enough to make you want to throw your phone in a lake and live off the grid. The constant barrage of misinformation can be overwhelming, making it tempting to disconnect entirely and seek solace in a simpler, more truthful existence. But before you build that tinfoil hat, there's a glimmer of hope. Not all is lost in this sea of lies. There are ways to navigate these treacherous waters and find the truth. Platforms are starting to take this stuff seriously. They're recognizing the role they play in the spread of misinformation and are taking steps to combat it. Meetings with fact-checkers and discussions about content moderation are becoming more common. They're partnering with fact-checkers, labeling dubious content, and even removing the worst offenders. These efforts are crucial in the fight against misinformation, helping users discern fact from fiction. Think of it as navigating a stormy sea with a trusty compass and a dedicated crew. Together we can weather the storm and steer towards a brighter, more truthful future. Okay, so social media is a hot mess of misinformation and angry rants. Every day, millions of people log onto platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, only to be bombarded with a mix of facts, half-truths, and outright lies. It's a chaotic digital landscape where emotions run high and the truth often gets lost in the noise. But whose job is it to clean it up? Is it the responsibility of the users to fact-check everything they see, or should the platforms themselves step in to regulate the content? This question has sparked heated debates among policymakers, tech companies, and the general public. Some argue that platforms have a moral obligation to protect their users from harm. They believe that just as a company would recall a defective product, social media giants should take action to remove harmful content. This perspective sees these platforms as gatekeepers who must ensure the safety and well-being of their digital communities. After all, they're the ones profiting from our endless scrolling, right? These companies make billions from advertising revenue, which is driven by user engagement. The more time we spend on their platforms, the more money they make. So, shouldn't they bear some responsibility for the environment they've created? Think of it like a bar owner. When you walk into a bar, the owner has a duty to ensure that the environment is safe and enjoyable. They can't just serve anyone anything and claim ignorance when a brawl breaks out. They have to monitor the situation and step in when necessary. They can't just serve anyone anything and claim ignorance when a brawl breaks out. If a fight does occur, the bar owner is expected to take action, whether it's calling security, breaking up the fight, or even banning the troublemakers from returning. This responsibility is part of running a business that serves the public. They have a responsibility to create a safe environment for their patrons. This means not only preventing fights, but also ensuring that the bar is free from other dangers, like over-serving alcohol or allowing illegal activities. The goal is to create a space where people can enjoy themselves without fear of harm. Similarly, social media platforms have a duty to prevent their platforms from becoming breeding grounds for hate speech, harassment, and dangerous conspiracies. Just as a bar owner wouldn't allow illegal activities to take place in their establishment, social media companies shouldn't allow harmful content to flourish on their platforms. They need to be held accountable for the content they allow to flourish. This means implementing policies and technologies to detect and remove harmful content, as well as being transparent about their efforts. Accountability also involves being open to scrutiny and willing to make changes when necessary. Of course, this isn't as simple as it sounds. The digital world is vast and constantly changing, making it difficult to keep up with the latest trends and threats. Moreover, the sheer volume of content makes it nearly impossible to monitor everything in real time. Defining harm is like nailing jelly to a wall. What one person considers harmful, another might see as harmless or even beneficial. This subjectivity makes it challenging to create clear and consistent guidelines for content moderation. And who gets to decide what's acceptable and what's not? Should it be the tech companies who have a vested interest in keeping users engaged, or should it be an independent body free from corporate influence? This question is at the heart of the debate over content moderation. It's a slippery slope, but one we can't afford to ignore. The stakes are high and the consequences of inaction could be dire. As we continue to navigate this moral tightrope, it's crucial that we find a balance between free expression and protecting the public from harm. The future of our digital society depends on it.